Okay, my screen is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the very small regarding your buttons and the text boxes. Okay, if I will run this application, first I will show you how this application will work, and later on I will show you the code. See, if I'm clicking on this button, okay, only thing, one message box is coming. But again, when I'm clicking on it, you can see the text of this button has been changed. Okay, now it's coming like button text is changed. Okay, when again I'm clicking on it, again the previous content of the button is there and message box is coming. Button text is reset to the original text. Okay, again if I'm clicking, it will change to hello, and message boxes text button text is changed. Okay, so how this is done, I will show you the code for this form. Okay, so in that, as your class will start, that is form 1 class will start. Okay, in that you need to declare one variable. Okay, why, it's up to you how you want to do it. In the morning, as I shown you, if I'm taking my mouse cursor over the button or over the text box, color are changing or some size is increasing, so it's up to you how you want to implement. Okay, here what I am doing is, when I am clicking one time, the button content will remain same. When I am clicking second time, button content will change. When I am clicking third time, button content will remain same. So means alternatively content is being changed. So for that, what code I have implemented here is, first I am taking one variable I equal to 0. Okay, I equal to 0, and you need to write it inside this form class. Okay, before your all methods like this form method, this other methods, before that you create your variable I. After that, as all things are happening when I'm clicking on a button, the actual events were done when I'm clicking a button. So that is why button 1 underscore click event will be generated and all the code will be executed. What is the code? First, I have given I equal to 0. Okay, when my button will be pressed, I will be incremented. I will become 1, and I will check whether I is divisible by 2 or not. Okay, if I will see here, if I is divisible by 2, okay, that means if even numbers come, simply saying if even numbers come, then your button 1, okay, dot text will become hello, and message box will come that button text is changed. Okay, but if odd number come, like first time you clicked, that is the odd number, second time you will click, second is the even number, third time you will click, that is the odd number. So time you are clicking, okay, but if you are clicking at the odd time, then button 1 dot text will remain the same, that is click me, and message will come that the button text is reset or whatever the message you want to display. Okay, this is when your button will click. Okay, one more thing I have done is, when your form is loaded, means if I am running it again, okay, when your form is loaded, text box is not there, but as I click on this button, okay, text box appear. Okay, so how this is done, inside button 1 underscore click event, what I have done is, firstly when your form will load it, sorry, first form1 underscore load event. When this will happen, your text box 1 will be hide. How? You need to write a text box 1 dot hide method you need to call. Okay, because this will be happen when your form will be loaded. Okay, but later on when your button will get clicked, okay, then it will be displayed. So for that you need to call text box 1 dot show method. Okay, and after showing what you want to display inside the text box, so text box 1 dot text should be like whatever the text you want to give. I have given like button text will change by clicking the button. Back color, okay, any color, fore color you want to set. Morning, today morning also we have discussed some property to change the font. So it is your experiments, you can use different properties, okay. But the main thing is that I have used one variable I and I am checking whether I value is even or odd. Means I am incrementing I and checking whether I is even or odd. When the I is even, then the button text should change to hello. But when I value is odd, button text should remain the previous text only. Okay, so this was a small application. Okay, again if I will run, click me, because I have pressed only for one time. Okay, I value is 1, because as I will press the button, I value will be incremented. So at the starting I value was 0. As I press the button, I value become 1. As I will press the button again, I value become 2, and when it will be 2, that means it will be even, the button text will change to hello. Okay, and message box will content have button text is changed. Yes, clear with this application? Yes, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, students, please reply. Are you having any doubt
Yes,
or you
ma'am.
are clear with this?
Cleared, ma'am.
So I have simply shown you how you can work with button and text. All the things rest depend on you. You need to use these controls, you need to change their properties directly. You can change their properties from property window, or you can programmatically in .cs file you can change their properties. Okay, now one more application I will show. Okay, this is the second application. Now here we will work with the 3 forms. Okay, if you will, yeah, yes,
We are on the first application slide only. It's not visible. The next one, it's not visible.
okay, wait, I will share my screen again, maybe.
Yes, ma'am. Now,
Wait, I'm opening again. Now it's visible. Second application is this. Application to work with factorial and prime number.
yes,
Is
ma'am.
it coming? Okay.
Yes.
So this is my second application. I will first show you what this application is doing. There are 2 radio buttons here. Okay, first is the label. Label, as I already told you, when you want to simply show some text for information. Okay, so this application to work with factorial and prime numbers, this is one label. I have changed its size, I have changed its fore color. Okay, I have also changed the background color of this home form also. Okay, and then I have added 2 radio buttons here. One is find factorial, one is check prime number. Okay, I have added two forms here. First two radio buttons here. By default, first radio button will be selected. You can check anyone. Okay. After this, I'm clicking on the start because I have selected the option find factorial, and then I'm clicking on the start button. When I'm clicking on the start button, one form came. The previous main form is still there, that is application in C#, but when I clicked on the start button, the second form appeared with the name factorial form. Okay, so you can say this is my second form. Now what it will do, in this text box, first is enter any number whose factorial you want to calculate. So I have given 5. Okay, when I will click on this button, click to find factorial, you can see here in second text box the factorial of the number appear. Okay, and if I want to go back to my main form, back to main form, and you can see here my main form is again appeared on the screen. Okay, again if I want to check whether a number is prime or not. Okay, so what I will do is I'm selecting the second radio button. Again I will click on the start. When I click on the start, now third form appear. Okay, you can change the name of the form. I will show you. Now I'm checking whether a number is prime or not. I don't know. 4. We will check whether it is prime. It is saying it is not prime. Okay. Now 5. 5 is prime. Okay, other than that, any number you want to try, you can. So it is not prime. After again I want to go back to my main form, so back to main form. Okay, so in this my application I have given two radio buttons and I am working with the two different forms. If I will click on find factorial, then my second form will appear. If I am clicking on check prime number, my third form will appear. Okay, and if I will click on exit, I'm coming out of my application. My application closed now because this is the design view of your phone. So this is my application. Now I will show you the coding how I have done. First what I have done, simply I have taken first form. I have changed the text of that form. You can see here my cursor, you can see the text of this form I have changed to application in C#. That is why here application in C# is coming. When I'm selecting my label, okay, when I'm selecting my label, here you can see the text is there. Okay, but other than that I have changed the font color, I have changed the font, I have selected the size equal to 24. Okay, then radio button, if I'm selecting here, then whatever the text I have given. Okay, and other than that I have changed the font color and font also. Okay, other than that you can give different things also. Sorry, after then two buttons I have added. Okay, and for button also, whatever the text you want to show over the button, I want to show the written here star, and I have given the color for color and font. Font I have set same for everyone, every control, same for exit. So this is my first form, and for the main form I have set the background color also. You can see the background color also I have set for the whole form. Now I will show the code. When I'm clicking on start, what will happen? Okay, so I will double click on start button and you can see here button 1 underscore click event is there. Button 1 is my start button, and if I will click on that, this whole code will get executed. How? We will check. Like when I'm clicking on start, there are two radio buttons. Either user will select the first radio button or user will select the second radio button. So we will check here which radio button is selected. Okay, when user will click on start, it will be checked which radio button user has selected. So if radio button 1, because I have added two radio buttons, so the first radio button name will be radio button 1. First radio button name will be radio button 1, and I will check whether it is checked or not, means user have selected it or not. If it is selected, means if it is true, okay, then what will happen? I want that factorial form should open. Okay, if user will select the first radio button, then the factorial form should open. Okay, so for in my application, factorial form name is form 2. Okay, so form 2 is my class having form 2 object. I'm creating the object, and using object I'm calling the show function so that my form 2 will be displayed. Okay, but if in case user have selected the second radio button, as if radio button 2 dot checked equal true, then form 3 object I have created and form 3 will be displayed. Okay, this is for my first button start. Okay, this start button. If I will click on it, it will check whether find factorial radio button is selected or check prime, because back at the background for the button name radio button 1 and radio button 2 will be used. Okay, then second button is exit button. Okay, second button is exit. For exit, you want to see the code is that one day I have shown you how we can exit from the application. So system.windows.form, from inside the form dot application, and from that exit method will be called, and this will make your application to close. Clear with the first form? Yes, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so as the application run, like if I will select on find factorial, means first radio button, which form should open? Form 2. So we will see the form 2 now. This is my form 2. Okay, again for form 2, I have set the text of this form is okay, then I have added one label. Okay, and for that label I have set the text is find factorial. Other than that, I have set the font color and the font style. Okay, then enter any number, that is the label. Factorial is, this is also a label, and these two are the text boxes. Then one button is click to find factorial, another is back to main form. If I am selecting it, you can change the font color of button. See, font color I have set to this, and font and style. Now, if you remember, when I executed this application, when I'm clicking on this find factorial, it is finding the factorial of a number, and that number is entered in first text box. Okay, so first text box will receive the number, and second text box will give the result. So now I will double click on this to see the code. Code is very simple. You know how to find a factorial. The logic you know. You just need to put that logic here. This is my first button in form 2. Okay, so first button underscore click. After that, the logic to find the factorial. Like I have taken one number variable. By default, I have set to 0. I have taken fact variable with the long data type, and I have given value 1 by default. Now, if you remember this thing also I have discussed, when someone will enter some text in text box. Okay, so text box 1 dot text. Okay, but that text will be in string format, but we want a number. So int 32 dot phrase is the way to convert this data into integer. Means which data type we want to convert, we will write here. Instead of int you write double, you write float, according your requirement. Dot phrase will be used to convert. Okay, and when the value, string value, will be converted into a number, that will be given to num variable. So user will enter a number whose factorial user want to find, and from the text box we will convert that value into a integer and we will give to number. After that, the logic to find the factorial, we will run a loop till number is greater than equal to 1, because for 1 always it will be 1. Later on, this is not a big condition, means it is required. I have simply said, means my application will find the factorial till 25. You can change till 50 also. If you don't want to put this condition, you can leave it. I was simply checking, for that I have put that less than 25 if your number is okay. And after that, this is the logic, like fact is 1 into that number, and later on your number will be reduced. This is the logic to find the factorial. Okay, when your factorial will be calculated, we will come out of the while loop. Okay, and the result will be displayed in text box 2. So text box 2 dot text equal to fact plus, if you don't want to put a space, don't put space. This is just I was checking, so I have put, you simply put fact inside your text box 2. Clear with this how this is working, how calculation of factorial will be done? Yes, students? Yes, reply. Yes, students, are you clear with this or any doubt? Yes, students, any doubt? Okay, so second button in the form 2, the second button is back to main form, because we want to leave the current form and we want to go to our previous form, that is the form 1. So for that, you can see this dot close, if you will use, that means you want to close this particular form, and you want, means whatever the previous form will be there, that will be open and this form will get closed. Okay, so clear with the second form? Yes, student, clear with second form? Yes, student, clear with your second form or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So please reply. I was calling. Okay,
Sorry,
so
ma'am.
the
I called.
okay, so this is my first form. In that we have done with our factorial part. Now if I want to go for prime number, that means my third form will be executed. So inside third form, again I have taken one label which will tell enter a number and text box. Okay, And when I'm clicking on check prime number, it will check whether the number is prime or not, and it will display a message box. Okay, so I'm double clicking on it. See here the logic is for prime number. Okay, for that I'm taking one number. Okay, two variables I need, one is prime or one is square. The logic to find the prime number, that is, if I'm entering any number, okay, I will go the half of that number. If I'm taking 5, I will go starting from the 1, I will go half of that number and I will divide 5 by those numbers to check whether number is prime or not. Okay, so same thing I'm doing here. First, as I told, user will enter some value in the text box. I need that value. So text box 1 dot text will be now converted into double. Okay, and that will be given to variable prime. Okay, so whatever the value user have entered, that will be given to prime. Now the square root, as I told, the half we need, so the square root of that number will be calculated. Okay, so we will start from 2, we will go up to the square root of that number that user have entered. Okay, and we will increment num value first. Wait, okay, and after that I will divide my number, that is the prime number that user have entered, with the num. I will check whether it is equal to 0, means it is totally divisible by number, because we know prime numbers are the numbers which are divisible by itself only. But if my prime number is divisible by some other number, okay, that means it is not a prime number, we will count. But if number is greater than the square root, it is automatically that number is prime number. Because if I'm dividing any number by half, greater means half, that means the number is not possible to divide. If I will say 5 is the number, there is a possibility that 5 can be divisible by 2, but there is no possibility that 5 will be divisible by 4. Okay, so that is the logic of prime number. And again button 2 underscore click to go back to main. So for that I'm closing my current form. So this was a small application to show you. Is it clear? Is there any doubt in this? Yes.
As of now, no, ma'am.
See, there are so many things. I'm not saying this much is required for you. No, it is up to you. You need to go through each and every control properties, because I have shown you programmatically now. You just need to assess your control dot its property to work with that. Okay, you need to explore, you need to practice. You can create, like I have shown you, one form application, three form application. You can create, just for practice you can create three form. You can create a quiz application, means question, whatever the value user will enter, you can match with your value, because till now we are not working with the database applications now. So you can match with some value you have set. If that is equal, you can say your question is correct. So some small application you can try, so that you will be familiar with this thing. Okay, now one document I will show you. In that some codes are there that you can use for yourself. Is it visible? One Word document is visible to you?
No, ma'am.
Wait. Now it's visible. Yes,
Yes,
student.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so what you can do programmatically if you want to work with the things. If you remember, we have done check boxes. Okay, we have added the check boxes. Means when we want to give user a facility to select so many options, not like radio buttons. Like just now we have done an application that you have selected only one option, either factorial or prime. Okay, so checkboxes if you want to add programmatically, not directly from toolbox. If you want to add it programmatically, so how you can add it? Wherever you want to add, like inside the form you want to add. So there, this is your checkbox application. You need to create the object of that. Any control you want to use programmatically, you want to create it programmatically. First thing you need to do is you need to create the object of it. Like I want to use checkbox, so I have created the object of it. Okay. After then I will use its property. Like first object C1, I will set its text equal to me. I have created one object of checkbox type and I have set its text box equal to me. Okay, and after that I want to add this control inside my form. Okay, first thing is you simply created a checkbox. Second thing is you want to add this checkbox inside your form. So this is the way. First you will write this. This means your current object, that is your current form. Dot controls you need to access. Okay, and inside that you want to add some controls. Okay, so that means add, and in bracket you will tell which control you want to add. I want to add this checkbox, that is C1, so I will write like this. See, I am showing you small code. Now you need to practice. You can create radio buttons. You can simply create buttons, any control that you want to add. Okay, labels, text boxes. So in this way you can add. This is simple small code. I'm not saying I'm giving you the whole. Okay, this is to add any control. Okay, now if you remember, one day we have done the link label to move from one link, to move from one page to some another, like you want to directly go to some website. Okay, so code to use with link label. So what you need to do is system.diagnostic.process.start. Okay, and after that, within the start round bracket, you need to mention which URL you want to go. Okay, which URL you want to go. So if you will write like this URL, that means this particular site will open. And this code you need to try by yourself after this, because today you need to submit this thing to me. Okay. Then one more control we have discussed, list box, that was showing some list of items. Okay, if I will show you here one list box we have done this. Okay, so if I will add here, you can add so many items. User can select one or two or three items. Okay, so that is one way that you can directly go here and add items. Okay, whatever the item you want to add, you can add here. Okay, that is one. Another way, if you want to add these items programmatically, what you need to do is you need to write list box. One is your control dot items. Okay, dot add, and what name you want to give to your item. Like if you are creating the list of Some devices, like I have given one example like joystick. So you can write a joystick. Okay, so these are the sequence hierarchy from your control to items dot add, and then in round bracket what you want to add. Okay, clear with these things? Yes, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Another thing is regarding text box. Okay. Now, if I have created one list box, okay, just now I have shown you, you can add some item to it. But if I want to get what item user have selected, okay, if I have given the list of item and I want to know which item user have selected, so I will write like this: list box one dot selected index. It will give the index number, like first item will have index number, then second will have index number, like this. So this will return me index number. Later on that will be converted into string, and it will be given to some text box if you want to show in some text box. If you want to show in some message box, so you can give to message box. But I have tried this example that whatever I am selecting from the list box, that will be displayed in my text box. So that is list box one dot selected index dot string. This will show me the index, but what if I want to show the item which I have selected? So list box one dot selected item. Okay, there are two things. One is selected index, another is selected items. This also you can try. Today you can try, you can create one list box. You can add the item using this, and later on you can add two text boxes, which will, one will return the index which item have selected, another will show the actual item that has been selected. Okay, and if you want to clear the selection from list box, means no selection should be there. If user have selected but you want to clear that selection, so one thing, you can click a button in your form, you can add a button. Okay, and when someone will click on the button, what should happen? List box one, that is your main control, we are using list box one, and dot clear selected. If you will write, that means whenever user will click on this button, it will make your list box selection clear. Okay, so these are regarding how you can get which item has been selected, which item index have been selected, how you can clear your list box, because mostly the code I have given here is regarding list box, the tree. So now one more method that it can be used with the list box is to check. You can see here the value at index 1 is selected. Okay, means get is selected, which if you are writing here 2, so it will tell me value at this particular index is selected or not. Okay, getting my point? Here I am giving the index number, means first item is selected or not, second item is selected or not, third item is selected or not. So this get selected method will be used to check that this index value is selected or not. So that is I am checking if list box one dot get selected one equal true, then message box, then message box dot show will be value at index 1 is selected. Okay, now this is the code to find the selected item in checkbox. As I told, checkbox we can use when we want to give multiple option to user, like hobbies or some subjects if user want to select. is here to items user has selected. So user selected. Okay. So for that, what you can do is you can create a button, because I have done this by adding the button one. Okay. Whenever someone will click on this button, first what it will do is it will check the list. So checked list box dot checked item dot count not equal to 0. Here checkbox is not this checkbox. This is checkbox list or checked list. You can list will be there, but that list will have checkboxes with it. So this particular condition will check whether there are some items which are checked or not. So what I am doing here is I am picking my control, that is checked list box dot I am picking the property checked items. Okay, means to find the checked items dot I am picking the count property. Okay, means whether there are some count for checked item or not. Okay, if it is not equal to 0, means some items are there that has been checked. Now I want to get that item. So one string variable, the purpose of it will be cleared. So I will run a loop, because there may be a possibility that more than one item has been selected from checked list box. So I will run start from 0. I will go up to the number of count, that is checklist box dot checked item dot count, means how many items have been selected. What I'm doing is, that is my string. With that I'm adding this and x plus 1 to string, because here I'm simply counting. Okay, and main thing where I will find that which item has been selected, that is checked list box 1. Checked item is now my array, because there are so many items that user can select. So one array will be there, that is checked items. Inside that, which number of item I want to see, because x is representing from 0 to number of items that has been selected. So using x I can find the different values. Okay, and all these items, this is simply a whole message. Okay, if you don't want the whole message, the main thing that you need to use is checklist box 1 dot checked item is your array x to go to different values of array to string, and s will receive this whole list, and that will be display using a message box, or you want to display in text box, any way you want. Okay. Now one more control we have done is drop down menus we have done, if you remember. So if I want to set how many items I can show at a time in drop down menu, you remember drop down menu, one arrow will come. If I will click on arrows, then list of items will come, like we usually see to select the country, to select the city. Okay, so how many item you want that should be displayed at once when you will click on that arrow. Okay, so that is the control name is combo box. Okay, if you want to add drop down list, then control that you will use is combo box, and which property you need to set is maximum drop down item. If I will set whatever the value, and when you will click on the arrow, 4 items will be shown at a time. If you are having 10 items, okay, only 4 will be shown to you, other you can see through the scroll bar. Okay, so that is how you can set the maximum items in a drop down list. Okay, Another thing that you can do with drop down list is find the index of selected item. Means if you suppose you have created a drop down list of country, so at the back end you want to see which item have been selected. Okay, so the index of selected item or actual value, how you can do is combo box 1 dot selected index. Okay, and if you want to see the item, combo box 1 dot selected item. Okay, so here I want to show you is the properties that you can access. Combo box is your control, the drop down list, dot selected index, and selected item is your properties. Okay, so this is regarding combo box. And one more thing, if you remember in last lecture we have done tab control. Some tabs I have shown you from one page to another page we were moving. Okay, so in that we have already discussed this thing, if how many pages are there in tab control. If you remember, we have done this already. How you can find number of pages in tab control? Tab control 1 dot tab count property you can use to find the number of, like you have a number of pages that are there in tab control. Okay, now last regarding trees. To find the selected node, trees we have done, I think in last today morning we have done the trees. So if you want to see which node has been selected, currently which node you have selected, see here which event is after selection, means after someone has selected the tree, you have clicked on the tree, then you can check which node has been selected, and for that which property you will use, that is your main control tree view 1 dot selected node you have to use. Okay, tree view 1 is your control dot selected node, if you will use it will return the selected node. To string, as I told, to convert the value to string, because message box, text box, they will accept the string values. Okay, now this is to select the main node, but if I want to find some child node is selected or not, and morning, today morning also we have done this. If you remember in morning session I have shown you how you can check whether any particular sub node has been selected or not. So tree view dot your main node, inside main node your child node dot checked equal to true or not. So these are the properties you can implement, and there are so many properties. Now give me 2 minutes.